Chapter 1. I already told them that I was going on the trip with them, so you can't stop me, Paul yelled. You will not tell me where you're going and what you are going to do, little boy. You are a child, and as long as you live under my roof, you will ask permission to go anywhere. You do not tell me where you are going, you ask. And I'm saying you aren't going anywhere. Patricia screamed at her son as her anger began. I don't have to listen to you. What are you going to do, hit me? I'm taller than you and stronger than you, and since you are an adult, if you try it, you know you're going to jail. So I'm going, and you can't stop me, Paul screamed back. It was almost 8:45 p.m. on a Tuesday's winter night. The road she was on was dark and only had a few streetlights on it. There was more snow than street and barely any visible sidewalks to use. She looked at the thermostat on her rearview mirror and took a mental note that it read 12 degrees. She knew it was too cold and too dark for anyone to be out there walking in those conditions, which is why she and her 7-year-old baby girl, Jasmine, got out of their. Yet now, as her son's disrespectful voice screamed commands in her ear as she drove, her better judgment went out of the window, and she allowed her rage to take over. She had had enough of this. For months, she fought with him, she talked to him, and begged him to behave. Now she was tired of it, and she was done. Instantly, she checked her mirrors and pulled to the side of the road, flipped the switch to activate the blinkers, and snatched off her seatbelt. She turned around with steam emitting from the top of her head and growled at her teenage son. Get out of my car, you ungrateful child! How dare you disrespect me after all I've done and sacrificed for you? We are out of our warm beds to pick you up so that you wouldn't have to be out here in the cold, dark night walking home. And this is how you thank us? Well, don't worry about thanking me now. Thank me after you walk this last mile home. Maybe now you will wear that hood like I asked you to, and you'll appreciate it when I go out of my way to buy you weather-appropriate clothes. Get out, and look both ways when you cross the street. Nobody asked you to pick me up. I could have been walking home on my own. I don't care about being in your funky car. I'll get out and walk the rest of the way. I ain't a baby, you know. Paul screamed back, matter-of-fact. Paul trudged his way through the snow in the direction where the sidewalk was supposed to be, as Patricia sat there for a moment to see if he'd try to come back with an apology. As she watched him forge on without turning back, she mumbled to herself. She switched off her hazards and quickly pulled off. These damn teenagers have lost their minds. I'll show him. Although she was angry at him, she still wanted to make sure he was going to be okay, since she had put him out in the dark with a large black coat on. As she drove off, she looked into the rearview mirror at him. Unfortunately, her anger had her driving distracted. She had not realized that as she looked backward, Patricia never realized that, nor did she realize that she had not flicked on her headlights or put her seatbelt back on. She crossed over the line into a head-on collision with a snow truck. The driver spotted the vehicle at the last minute, then tried to stop but was unable to prevent his plow from killing Patricia and her daughter Jasmine in the head-on collision. The last thing anyone heard from Paul was his scream as he witnessed it in slow motion. After the accident, he stopped talking altogether.